Chinese astronauts return to Earth after 6 months helping build a new space station. China's Shenzhou 14 astronauts have handed over control of the Tiangong space station and returned to Earth. The return capsule from the mission's Shenzhou spacecraft set down safely after sunset within the Dongfeng landing area in the Gobi Desert in the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region on Sunday, December 4, at around 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, about 9 hours after undocking from the country's recently completed Tiangong space station.
Welcome back to my channel. Before we proceed, kindly subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay updated when we release new videos. Without further delay, let's dive in.
The safe return marks the end of a 6-month-long mission during which astronauts Chen Dong, Liu Yang, and Kai Xuji oversaw the arrival of the second and third modules for Tiangong and carried out 3 spacewalks to check and test out the new facilities. The 3 astronauts radioed that they were feeling fine shortly after landing, with the message greeted with applause at the Beijing Aerospace Flight Control Center, BACC. Before leaving, the crew played their part in the country's first crew handover, with the new Wenshan and Mengshan modules added to the Tianhe core module, allowing both Shenzhou 14 and the newly arrived Shenzhou 15 crews to spend 5 days together on board. The get-together marked the first time China has had 6 astronauts in space simultaneously. Chen, Liu, and Kai also hosted a live and interactive science outreach lecture and sent home stunning images of the Earth and Moon during their half-year in orbit. They were also involved in 5 rendezvous and docking maneuvers, with modules, new Tianzhou freighters, and Shenzhou craft arriving, 2 spacecraft separations, and 2 module transpositions, which relocated the Wenshan and Mengshan modules to their permanent lateral docking ports. The astronauts were carried out of the capsule by medical workers about 40 minutes after touchdown. They were all smiles and appeared to be in good condition, waving happily at workers at the landing site. I am very fortunate to have witnessed the completion of the basic structure of the Chinese space station after 6 busy and fulfilling months in space, said Chen, who was the first to exit the capsule. Like meteors, we returned to the embrace of the motherland. The 3 astronauts were part of the Shenzhou 14 mission, which launched in June. After their arrival at Tiangong, Chen, Liu, and Kai oversaw 5 rendezvous and dockings with various spacecraft, including one carrying the third of the station's 3 modules. They also performed 3 spacewalks, beamed down a live science lecture from the station, and conducted a range of experiments. The Tiangong is part of official Chinese plans for a permanent human presence in orbit. China built its own station after it was excluded from the International Space Station, largely due to U.S. objections over the Chinese space program's close ties to the People's Liberation Army, the military wing of the ruling Communist Party. With the arrival of the Shenzhou 15 mission, the station expanded to its maximum weight of 100 tons. Without attached spacecraft, the Chinese station weighs about 66 tons, a fraction of the International Space Station, which launched its first module in 1998 and weighs around 465 tons. With a lifespan of 10 to 15 years, Tiangong could one day be the only space station still up and running if the International Space Station retires by around the end of the decade as expected. China in 2003 became the 3rd government to send an astronaut into orbit on its own after the former Soviet Union and the United States. China has also chalked up uncrewed mission successes. Its Yutu-2 rover was the first to explore the little-known far side of the Moon. Its Chang'e 5 probe also returned lunar rocks to Earth in December 2020 for the first time since the 1970s, and another Chinese rover is searching for evidence of life on Mars. Officials are reported to be considering an eventual crewed mission to the Moon, although no timeline has been offered. Shenzhou 14 launched on June 5 this year, reaching the solo Tianhe module 6.5 hours later, but the crew leave behind a completed and fully operational 3-module T-shaped Tiangong space station. The mission matches the Shenzhou 13 mission in being China's longest so far, at 182 days. Mission Commander Chen Dong also set a new Chinese record for total time in space, becoming the country's first astronaut to spend more than 200 days in orbit. Chen previously spent 33 days aboard the Tiangong 2 test space lab, a prototype for the larger Tiangong modules during the Shenzhou 11 mission in 2016. Shenzhou 14 was the third crewed mission to Tiangong, which at first consisted solely of the Tianhe core module, which launched in April 2021. The first crewed visit to Tianhe, Shenzhou 12, lifted off in June 2021 and landed 92 days later. The newly underway Shenzhou 15 mission will also last around 6 months, supplied by the TIanzhou 5 freighter. The spacecraft for the following mission is already at the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center. Shenzhou 16 has been assembled and tested and is on standby in case of need of an emergency launch to Tiangong, according to China's official space news outlet. The completed Tiangong station at which Shenzhou 15 and TIanzhou 5 are currently docked is about 20% as massive as the International Space Station, ISS. The country plans to keep the Tiangong space station permanently occupied and operational for at least a decade and could see commercial missions, international astronauts, and even tourist visits to the orbital outpost in the coming years. Prior to departure, the astronauts had overlapped for almost 5 days with 3 colleagues who arrived on Wednesday on the Shenzhou 15 mission for their own 6-month stay, marking the first time China has had 6 astronauts in space at the same time. The station's third and final module docked with the station this month. The astronauts were carried out of the capsule by medical workers about 40 minutes after touchdown. They were smiling and appeared to be in good condition, waving happily at workers at the landing site. I am very fortunate to have witnessed the completion of the basic structure of the Chinese space station after 6 busy and fulfilling months in space. Chen, who was the first to exit the capsule, said, "Like meteors, we return to the embrace of the motherland." Liu, another of the astronauts, said she was moved to see relatives and colleagues. The 3 astronauts were part of the Shenzhou 14 mission, which launched in June. After their arrival at Tiangong, Chen, Liu and Kai oversaw 5 rendezvous and dockings with various spacecraft, including one carrying the third of the station's 3 modules. They also performed 3 spacewalks, beamed down a live science lecture from the station, and conducted a range of experiments. That's all I have for you guys for today. If you liked watching this video, please make sure to click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell icon so that you may be notified when we upload a new video. Thanks for watching.